Imagine a world where the secrets of life are hidden in plain sight, within every living thing. For centuries, scientists have sought to understand what makes organisms tick, leading to discoveries that would change the course of biology forever. In this video, we will explore a groundbreaking theory that reveals the very building blocks of life, a theory that has become a cornerstone of modern science. When scientists make a discovery, it's not always in a prescribed manner, as in, only in a laboratory under strict settings with wide lab coats and all sorts of neat science gizmos that go beep. In reality, the events and people involved in some of the major scientific discoveries are as weird and varied as they get. My case in point, the weird history of the cell theory. There are three parts to the cell theory. 1. All organisms are composed of one or more cells. 2. The cell is the basic unit of structure and organization in organisms. And 3. All cells come from pre-existing cells. To be honest, this all sounds incredibly boring until you dig a little deeper into how the world of microscopic organisms and this theory came to be. It all began in the early 1600s in the Netherlands with a spectacle maker named Zacharias Janssen, who is credited with inventing the first compound microscope as well as the first telescope. However, both of these claims are often debated as he wasn't the only person experimenting with glass lenses at that time. Despite the disputes, the microscope quickly became a hot commodity, much like the iPad of its day, and was highly sought after by naturalists and scientists. One such enthusiast was a fellow Dutchman named Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Rather than buying a microscope, Leeuwenhoek chose to make his own, crafting a peculiar device that resembled a tiny paddle, about the size of a sunglasses lens. Had he joined two of these lenses together, he might have accidentally invented a pair of square-case sunglasses, although with limited visibility. Once he had his makeshift microscope ready, he began examining anything and everything he could get his hands on, including the plaque from his own teeth. Yes, you heard that right. He discovered bacteria by observing dental scrapings. Given that people in those days rarely, if ever, brushed their teeth, Leeuwenhoek must have had a rather robust collection of bacteria to examine. When he documented his findings, he didn't refer to them as bacteria, as we do today. Instead, he called them animalcules because they appeared to him like tiny animals. While Leeuwenhoek was busy peering into his dental gunk, he maintained correspondence with a scientific colleague in England named Robert Hooke. Hooke was a man with a wide range of scientific interests, dabbling in everything from physics to chemistry and to biology. It was Hooke who coined the term cell after observing a piece of cork under his microscope. The small chambers he saw reminded him of the cells or small rooms in a monastery, much like the dorm rooms in modern colleges, but without the TVs, computers, and occasionally irritating roommates. However, Hooke's scientific contributions were somewhat overshadowed by his rivalry with one of the most renowned scientists of all time, Sir Isaac Newton. Hooke, having a hand in various fields of science, made the unfortunate decision to challenge Newton by claiming that Newton's groundbreaking work on gravity had been inspired by his own research in physics. Newton, not one to take such claims lightly, developed a tense and hostile relationship with Hooke, a feud that persisted even after Hooke's death. In fact, much of Hooke's research, along with his only known portrait, mysteriously vanished, likely due to Newton's influence. Although much of Hooke's work was rediscovered later, his portrait remains lost, leaving us without a visual record of his appearance. Fast forward to the 1800s, when two German scientists made discoveries that, while perhaps obvious to us today, were at the time and crucial to the development of cell theory. The first was Matthias Schleiden, a botanist who spent years studying plants under the microscope. His observations led him to groundbreaking realization: every plant he examined was composed of cells. At the same time, on the other hand of another German, Theodor Schwann, a scientist who not only studied slides of animal cells under the microscope and got a special type of nerve cell named after him, but also invented rebreathers for firefighters and had a kicking pair of sideburns. After studying animal cells for a while, he too came to the conclusion that all animals were made of cells. He reached out via snail mail, as Twitter had yet to be invented, to other scientists working in the same field with Schleiden, who got back to him, and the two started working on the beginnings of the cell theory. A bone of contention arose between them. As for the last part of the cell theory, that cells come from pre-existing cells, Schleiden didn't exactly subscribe that thought, as he swore cells came from pre-cell formation, where they just kind of spontaneously crystallized into existence. That's when another scientist named Rudolf Virchow stepped in with the research showing that cells did come from other cells. Research that was actually, borrowed without permission from a Jewish scientist by the name of Robert Remak, which led to two or more feuding scientists. From teeth gong to torquing of Newton, crystallization to Schwann cells, the cell theory came to be an important part of the biology today. Some of things we know about science today may seem boring, but how we came to know them is incredibly fascinating. So, if something bores you, dig deeper. It's probably got a really weird story behind it somewhere. In the annals of scientific lore, there lies a tale of grand discovery of how we came to learn of cells galore, a theory born from minds in revelry. It all began with Robert Hooke's keen eye, peering through a microscope so pure. He saw the patterned walls that lie within a piece of cork so sure. Then came along Anton van Leeuwenhoek. With lenses of his own design, he spied on tiny creatures, a unique stroke, the first glimpse of life so fine. Schwann and Schleiden added to the fray, their findings on plant and animal cells clear, proposing the theory that we hold today. In every living being, cells appear. From humble beginnings, this theory grew, expanding our knowledge of life's inner view.